Houston hotel arsenal bust above New Year's Eve celebration. New Year's Eve celebration. Caught him drunk, stumbling around with a bunch of weapons and ammo. Hopefully that's just some crazy person. They weren't actually planning something.
Did you see that? Did you catch that? That's the first thing I wanted to point out. All right, so here's A.Jones promoting these events as if they are actually real organic events. No longer is he taking the position that these are contrived by government, but he is literally on the shill side now, to where these are real. We must be afraid. Martial law is reasonable. Even though he's going to bitch about it, he just implied that it's basically a reasonable thing to have by that notion. I wanted to point that out because this is the kind of bullshit. If people are still like thinking, oh, A.Jones is on our side, the people's side. No, he's not at all. And this is the first statement out of his mouth is proof of it. Here, let's play it back again so you can hear it one more time.
New York, and we're going to be domesticated by the glove. Houston hotel arsenal bust above New Year's Eve celebration. New Year's Eve celebration. Caught him drunk, stumbling around with a bunch of weapons and ammo. Hopefully that's just some crazy person. They weren't actually planning something. Trump
insinuating that they weren't actually planning something.
Trump promises in 2018 to do much, much more on regulations, on other taxes, on going after the welfare queens that have been domesticated by the globalists. We're going to look at what's coming up in the year ahead. But first off, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of other exciting news on Infowars.com that we're going to be going over. And we're going to be looking at the amazing developments with The Nation and the New York Times. And even CNN coming out with headlines like this little jewel. See, I'm so excited I can't even hardly hold a piece of paper in my hands. Seriously, I can feel the energy. Can't you? 2018 is going to be a doozy. You think 2016 was big, 2017? It just goes forward in the human singularity with technology, human populations, the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, we are tied to a rocket ship, ladies and gentlemen. We're either going to Valhalla.
Yeah, promoting chaos.
We're going on an express elevator to hell, so get ready. But I can feel the energy. Wow. And it's good energy overall.
Oh, God. And then he grinds his jaw. Jawing and shit. What are you on, dude?
There's a little dark energy twisted over there on the dark side of the moon. But other than that, this is an amazing time right now. Trump is right about the FBI. That's the headline out of CNN. They say the FBI is a political operation at the top run by the Clintons, engaging in a major frame-up of Trump, and that it's all a giant fraud, and that it's destroying the FBI and governmental institutions and turbocharging Trump. The only reason they're saying drop the Russia investigation now is because it blew up in their face, as we told you months ago it had already done, and now it's even evident to them. They tried to paper over it, tried to not cover it on CNN, MSNBC, didn't work, so now they are crapping their globalist pedophile brick.
And you are spreading the bullshit. Oh, as if they are on separate teams, A.Jones. Pushing that bullshit. Nothing is different. These guys, they all want Israel. They all want the UN. They all want the vaccine schedule and the GMOs. They're acting like they don't want shit. They all want us in these little, rat trap pins, whatever you want to call these things, mazes. Order out of chaos. I mean, it's literally a saying on purpose, not just to desensitize you. Why do you think they say it all the time? Now, when you hear it, you just glaze over because it doesn't really mean shit to you. Meanwhile, the chaos ensues. Who's doing the chaos? Who benefits from all the chaos? Think about it. I mean, it's simple.
riches. And here it is out of the nation, the so-called pinnacle of liberal socialist pinhead thinking. Russiagate is devolving into an effort to stigmatize dissent. No, it was always an effort to stigmatize nationalist and free market dissent, an attempt to overturn the election and overturn all the other major elections of 2016 and bring in globalist federalized control after Trump was removed to never have another free election. You failed at your effort to stigmatize dissent, so now you're taking the high horse road because you've been caught. But again, it's everywhere. It's beyond blood in the water. It's sharks dining on the leftist lemmings and the controlled corporate press that took itself from dead to undead with all the globalist funding the last few years to now simply disappearing in a puff of ashes into the atmosphere. What an amazing time to be alive, a time of true renewal. Yes, we face amazing challenges, but Trump knows for every yin, there's a yang. And that parasitic behavior, globalism, a program of making people poor to control them, feudalism, that's been done for the entire history of recorded human annals. But Renaissance was only 460-something years old. Our republic only 244 years old. The idea of empowering humanity, turning loose the lower classes, and then finding the great genius that lied therein.
Turning loose the lower classes. I mean, just the way he talks, it's nasty. I don't think he even realizes it. You mean turning loose the slaves and normal people? What do we do? Call them lower classes now? I mean, what is this?
There's no doubt that even limited free market capitalism, which we've never achieved full capitalism, produces such innovation, such choice, such wealth, such dynamics, that compared to communism,
there's no more S's. It's all SH's from here on out.
It's like comparing a dumb, inanimate rock to the mind of God.
Look at his hands. He just, oh, he just did the move. Oh, the mind of God. And then he put on the face. I'm innocent. My innocent face. See?
But that is the mind of God. Free will, choice, but with that comes great responsibility.
Right, free will. Love me or burn in hell for all fiery eternity. Fucking free will. Well, you had a choice.
Because if you're given so much power, will you become a narcissistic Luciferian? Will
you tell us. You tell us, buddy. And what's a real Luciferian anyway, other than it's a name that make other people go, oh my God, look, it's another side of the same goddamn book. Oh, look. It's not like you need a different book to be a Luciferian, you know, is it? Think about it.
Will you decide to keep others from the Promethean fire, which you have been given? Will you attempt to hoard the light to yourself? Falling in love.
Boy, look at his face. He is high on something. You get facial expressions like that from, like, you know, when you go into the city and you see the people just having a really hard time and they're all fucked up on drugs and shit, and they ask you for change, and then their jaws move around like that. That's this guy.
Like Narcissus with his own reflection.
Grinding his teeth. He's talking to you. That is a crankhead, dude.
That way lies ruin. But for those of us that seek the Dark Tower, the quest to be honorable, strong men, and build up society and civilization. This is a very, very special time to be alive, ladies and gentlemen.
He said us. Like he's a part of, like, doing something good. How does he even sleep at night with that shit?
But it is like taking breath, taking a cup of wine before the real fight.
Watching him talk is like watching someone fight an addiction. It's really difficult.
It is the breath before we're sucked under. So take a deep breath and get ready, because the final challenge in the next 35, 40 years on whether we will survive as a species or whether we will destroy ourselves in satanic delusions is now before us. We are at the crossroads. And my great sin, Donald Trump's great sin, many of yours great sin, according to the globalist, pedophile, devil worshippers, the selfish ones, is that we believe in humanity and are confident and want to build others up. And so they play us, knowing we have a conscience, knowing we care, to give up our own will and wealth to supposedly help the individual who is poor, but it's really only through another combine to set them up as the master. But Trump knows that if he can turn America and the world around, at least financially, and get us back to basic tenets we know are designed to work and do work versus collectivism, communism, and all the dehumanization and mass murder that follows it. If he can simply do that, when they talk about Camelot and the Kennedys, who are seriously silver spoon, wannabe elitist, and I mean, I don't want to say bad people overall, but give me a break. That was just TV getting fancy and media learning how to doll people up, and so it was like a tabloid presidency. With Trump, he's got the supermodel goddess, beyond feminine, powerful, flame-throwing female. The real energy, the real power. Now the most popular person in America, according to Gallup. Everything is imploding in their face. He's got that, but what he's really delivering is a belief in the worker, the belief in the family, the belief in the individual, and a chance to help you get the chip off your shoulder and move.
Beliefs. He's helping you with beliefs, okay? Remember that. The belief and the belief and the belief and the reassuring the rationale and the belief. Putting the belief back into the system, so you believe in the system that controls you, then the system can therefore continue to control you. Put the belief back in the belief and the belief and the belief, and there you are with a faith-based belief system. Does you no good. Back to square one. Back to the Spanish Inquisitions you go, stupid. These people are dumb. Or they think you're dumb. I think he thinks you're dumb.
Move forward. And that infuriates the vampires, the spiritually hunchback devils who absolutely hate your will, hate your strength, hate your honor.
Straw man. Nobody does that. Nobody hates your honor and your strength. Nobody. No. They hate your ignorance and your stupidity and your dangerous maneuvers that affect them. That's what they hate. So, I don't know where this straw man argument's coming from, Alex fucking bonehead.
And hate your goodwill. And they ravenously want to pull you down and want to destroy you and want to annihilate you.
What's that word again? Ravenously?
You, because your very existence, your good heart, your love of God is...
There it is. He's pleading to the fanatic in you. He needs a faith-based belief structure, or people with faith-based belief structure. I can't even say that shit 3 times real fast. Around him. Because obviously, if you start picking apart the details, you're going to see that Alex Jones is completely full of shit in a lot of the areas. He'll tell you data points and facts and then interpret it all the way incorrectly. Bunch of data points. That's why people go, oh yeah, well, He tells 90% truth. He tells 100% lies. He gives you factual data and then conforms them into a lie. That's not the truth at all. So that's not really giving us all that truth that we thought he was giving us. We're giving him credit for being, benign when he's malignant. Is what's happening. And people are like, oh, well, he does give us some truth, so we can just allow him. But actually, all this data doesn't even come from him. It's not his data. He compiles the data and then reinterprets the data to you. So he has people working in the best. It's not like he's doing really much of anything, actually, other than letting his people work for him. He has a lot of people working for him. Imagine if you, you got your little channel and you got, let's say, 25 people that are all, good with their tech and social, journal skills, all this kind of shit, and they're putting these stories together for you. I mean, think about that. That's not him doing all of that stuff. Anyway, make a long story short, if you guys had that support, that kind of support, you sure wouldn't be as wrong about as many things as him. You notice he's now that everything's cooling off, he's finally talking about the stuff that we've already been talking about this entire time, and the fake global warming and the solar minimum. I don't know if he ever mentioned that part yet, to break it down, but these the cold weather kind of stuff, and that again, that'll bring you back to supporting him again. Look, guys, not you, but I mean, look, he's telling us some more truths. Yeah, that he kind of just swooped up from all the people who are working hard to discover these things. He comes along, he swoops them all up, he compiles them onto his own shit, and then everybody thinks this shit came from him. And now he's presenting you with all these truths again, and he's not. He's letting you know what other people are already doing, as if it's him being the shiny golden bringer of chocolate for you. That's COINTELPRO, and that way he's the controlled opposition now. Everybody believes that, oh, look, it's him. They've got the natural news where they talk about a few real things, and while at the same time continuing to race bait you. The same guy, Mike Adams, and these guys, I don't know if it's really, not Mike Adams so much, but the other guys that work like literally with him. I don't remember their names. John Watson, whatever, who cares, but they sit there and they race bait you. They are racist. They go lefty righty games. Instead of telling you, hey, the left and the right is all fake, guys, check this out, they go, no, the left is doing this, the left is saying that, the left is promoting the idea that the left and the right are different at the top. Again, promoting the bullshit while they're acting as if, look how I expose how crazy the left is. And it's like, well, why don't you expose how the left doesn't even exist at the top? Right? And stop wasting our time chasing pimples, and let's go after the friggin' acne, take care of the pH, Let's get real, dude. But if he did that, right, that would be, counterproductive for him. Because, I mean, let's get everybody on the page, and then now I can't get a bunch of views of this fear porn I'm promoting here. Trump has declared martial law. I just think it's crazy that in the title alone, that would have been 3-4 years ago. That would have been it, right? Alex Jones would have been like, oh, he's the devil. Martial law is here. He's promoting martial law. He's the devil. Now, why is he not the devil for promoting martial law, Alex Jones? Because we might need it. Because now we need it. Because, we even saw a guy, it was just like he was drunk and he had guns everywhere. Oh, Alex Jones, there you go. You sound like a lefty. Because lefties say that shit. That's what lefties say, remember? Lefties? Am I on the wrong side here? Lefties and righties? I don't even know. I don't even pay attention. I don't care. I'm just saying. I see through it. To me, it's like, How come people actually believe it? I can't even believe people even believe that shit. He's being a lefty. He's literally promoting the same crap that, yeah, he's telling you that everybody else was the devil for talking about doing just the other day. Just the other fucking day. So. Let me push play again so I can vomit in my mouth some more.
It's like nails on a chalkboard to them spiritually. And the only consciousness they have is to destroy you. The only will they have is to annihilate you.
What happened?
The world is in a rotting, corrupt, twisted, betrayed, withering depression right now. And so, as grandiose and quite frankly grotesque at times Trump is, like the ghost of Christmas present, it's what we need. And it's the thing, the perfect thing to challenge the austerity and the poverty and the bondage and the backstabbing and the twistedness and the failure that is globalism and communism and collectivism and all of its systems of centralization.
But you support wholeheartedly. He supports that wholeheartedly. That's hard to say too. I don't want to say wholeheartedly because that's not what I mean. I mean wholeheartedly. You're like, for money. Because all those terrible systems are fully in place inside of Israel. Think about it. And they support Israel 100%. And Israel, Israelis, the Jews, their religion is that their so-called Messiah will come back and rule the entire planet from Israel. Under Israeli law, the way Israelis rule Israel. Okay, so Israelis think that their shit is godly. They think their law is godly. They literally think smashing Palestinians in the head and shit for for throwing bottle rockets at them, this is all cool. For stealing their land and back and forthing and all this. And the reality of the situation is they were tricked to do so anyway by their own leaders. And guess what? The Palestinians too. Muslims and all that kind of stuff. Look at just without bias or who cares whose team is what team. Look at the whole thing arbitrarily. It's Catholic doctrine, dude. Like the whole fucking thing. Islam, Catholic doctrine. Sword of the Jesuit army. I mean, it's really right there in your face. A whole chapter on Miriam. That's Jesus' mom, by the way, and the only woman ever mentioned in the Quran. Whole chapter on her. It's Catholic doctrine. All esoteric Catholic doctrine shit. To support each other, actually. War against different factions and tribes for, ultimate rationale, control.
And Trump knows that if he delivers, the Trump dynasty will be unmatched. The problem is the sons are good. The daughters aren't bad. They're women. And they want to conform in their culture. They're from New York. And they continue to try to virtue signal. And I'm sure that Trump's daughter could end up, being president, Ivanka, someday.
Right, because it's just so common that presidents' kids become presidents. I mean, I don't know. It's starting to smell a little bit like a fishy-ass monarchy. It's already happened. It should have been a 1 in a billion kind of thing. And it's already happened this generation. Don't start talking about it as if it's going to be a common goddamn normality. We're going to have a bunch of fucking, oh yeah, well, the president's son, the president's daughter is the next in line. No, that's a monarchy. Get the fuck out of here. None of those people should have been president.
She's beautiful. She's smart.
300 million people and then George Bush Jr. Come on. Man, come on, man. I mean, seriously. George Bush Jr. You can't even say that with a straight face. George Bush Jr. I can't.
But she's a compromiser.
A compromiser. Tell us how you really feel, Alex Jones.
And as I go off another side issue, I can just see.
Oh my God. I see Cartman right now. Does anybody else see it? Screw you guys, I'm going home. Oh my goodness.
Into the future, as anybody else could see.
Alex Jones is really Eric Cartman. Newsflash. Alex Jones is really Eric Cartman. Yep. Look at the ears. Look at the ears. Look at the ears. Look at the teeth. It matches right up. Alex Jones is Eric Cartman.
Not with magical powers, but with the powers of deduction God gave us. And I can tell you now undoubtedly that it's the same spirit that Trump has that I have, in that
in that what? In that dollar bill? In that big ass chunk of money Trump gave you to start saying his name over and over again in a good light? In that what, Alex?
I am so confident. Not in an arrogant way.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, all the voice stuff you're doing and all the arrogant facial expressions, this got nothing to do with arrogant. Look, I'm arrogant, dude. Don't act like you ain't something that you are. What the fuck? That's ugly.
But that I couldn't lie to somebody or try to hold them down.
Except that's what you're doing right now. You know, without what, Alex? You couldn't do that without without money, right?
So I would feel powerful over them. And
it's as if he's got a mirror and he's going to tell you what he's really doing right now. He's giddy with it. He's getting away with telling you, I am wrecking y'all with your bullshit. He's saying, look at him. Oh, man. And I'm not doing it for power. Well, I mean, I would never do that. Excuse me. Power. The power bill.
That simple spirit that separates us from the devil worshippers. That's who they are.
Oh. Well, that puts a light on things. They're devil worshippers. Now I get it. Right. Because it's not that they don't believe in the Bible at all. No. They're the other side of the Bible. Yeah, they're the devil worshippers. Look, man, I don't know who you think you're bullshitting, dude. Okay? But you know you ain't bullshitting nobody. Look at your face. You know it didn't work. Yeah? You had to put a big one right into the camera, right into it. Like, take a breath. See? Oh. Pausable moment.
It's all about them. Total selfishness. Well, we're going to make it all about us. You want to dominate, destroy us? It is about us. All of us together.
Us who, Alex? Because you're promoting Israel, dude. You're not us. You ain't us. Alex thinks he's us, guys. He literally just said it over and over again. Promoting Zionism, promoting the CIA, promoting the UN. Not saying shit about shit else. Come on, Alex, man. Why didn't you pick up the back end of the Wakefield and Thompson, doctors Wakefield and Thompson story? The part where they were actually exonerated and didn't. Why aren't you still talking about that? Because that's what's important, that people understand that those vaccines are not safe and effective. Because that's what they're making mandatory while all this other shit is going on. Broham. So while that's happening, every single human being that's being born from then to then is mandatorily being vaccinated without the exemption rights and things like that that used to be in place. And here you are continuing to flail around out here in no man's land, talking about nonsensical issues, bringing people back to sleep, lulling them back to sleep. What is wrong with this picture? Go back to sleep. The system is good. Trump is not an insider. It's okay. Put your guard down. We're going to build a wall. Don't worry about passports between states. You're still an American. If you don't got anything to hide, you shouldn't have to worry about passports in between states. You know, the whole thing, he's bending every principle that he pretended he had in the beginning is bent. No longer for freedom of speech. No longer for, you know, anti-oppression of the people, obviously, because, you know, what is Israel but that? All right. You know, no longer believing that the government is, you know, creating false flag events. Now, it's probably a real event. We must worry. You know, this is the attitude we're getting. A real event. Oh, my God. It might have been real. I hope that wasn't going to be a real one because, you know, that's just planting seeds of, oh, my God, there's real ones. And now people listening to him are like, oh, my God. And they're just bending their damn, you know, rationale into going back to sleep, literally. Believing in this nonsense of this, you know, artificially orchestrated crisis and shit that they keep pulling on us. Remember, out of order, chaos. Order out of chaos. I mean, I know it's desensitizing to hear it over and over again, but it's, you got to look around. Right now is the chaos. Serious chaos going on right now. Order's coming around the corner. And it's going to have a nice shiny name on it. UN or something particularly ugly like that. And yeah, our government is bad. But the answer is not our other government. The one that's running our government already to make it bad so that they can actually say, look, we're the good side of government. The big government. We'll take care of it. We'll make sure the U.S. See, the world's getting it on now. They're like, oh, the U.S. is fucked up. They're the ones doing everything. They're so bad. And it's like us in the U.S., we're drugged, poisoned, stupid. We're dumbed down. Don't lie, guys. Just because you want to say you're smart, don't do it. Because we're not. We're not. On averages, fuck no. And we're like one of the most unhealthy countries. Oh, we've got great medical. People are living longer than ever. And then these are all lies. People are not living longer than ever here in the U.S. That's all bullshit. We're dying faster than ever. We got more cancers than any other motherfuckers. We have the worst medical infant rate, mortality rate. 76th country or some shit. I mean, that's pretty bad, dude. You got third world countries ahead of us in some cases. It's you think it's because we don't have enough doctors? No. It's because we have too many doctors, guys. Yes, we have too many doctors. We have too many medications. Too many diseases. Think about that for a second. There's too many. And not enough nutrition. No, they don't talk about that, do they? That's funny. You know, I studied nutrition as a nutritionalist during my my whole time studying to be a doctor, said no doctor ever. You know, I think I might have screwed that up, but it was, I saw a little meme that said something similar to that on it. But anyway.
Not you. And it's about you getting out of the way and getting behind us, Satan. And it really does come down to those yin archetypes. But that's where we are. And, I mean, I knew globalism was real. I knew their world government plan was real. I was reading the white papers, seeing it happen, reading stuff they wrote 50 years ago and seeing it, come true in the early 90s. And I mean, with exact programming and reading the CFR publications every 2 months when it came out. And then telling people and having news articles written about me saying, this man's a liar, he's dangerous. And then having news reporters go, listen, we're mercenaries, we really agree with you, keep it up, with tears in their eyes. Democrat politicians coming over to me and going, listen, son, we like what you're doing. A lot of us made wrong choices and are slaves now, but I hope you're successful. And the
hear that?
We
like what you're doing.
They're the worst. The point is that just as American Alexander de Tocqueville, the historian, wrote about,
the point is the globalists like me now. The point is now I've got some more funding because the globalists actually like me. I'm pushing this shit. That's what he's doing. He's pushing their agenda by saying, oh, man, they're dumb, man. We should do it like this and do the same thing they're doing. Yeah, gotta love the guy.
About not liking royalty, not liking class. Just because somebody was from an upper class, you didn't worship them, even though they were a moronic, inbred idiot. It was about what you actually did. McCabe, Rosenstein, I mean, they're all involved with the Russians. They're all involved with companies. They're involved killing investigations. They're involved getting money. They sold out our uranium. I mean, they're globalists. They're not Russian agents. They sell out to anybody that wants to gang rape America. And so Trump comes in and says, we're not going to have 38.9% taxes, and China has 15. We're going to have 15. And so China, by the way, lowered its taxes to 0 to counter America. See how that works, folks? See how that works? But that's coming up, sorry. But the reason it's important is the etymology, the historical genetic history of this compendium, of this story. Because remember, I have been called a Russian agent. They have congressional hearings.
You see what that was right there?
Armed services, intelligence.
You see what that was right there? That was a globalist attempt to change our rationale about the taxes in the U.S. Well, we should just lower our taxes for the big companies to 0. Do you see that, guys? Now the globalists are tricking the truthers into wanting 0 taxes for large corporations in the U.S. You see that? That rationale? You got to be careful dealing with this slimy motherfucker. Here. This is the kind of shit that they like to try and pull on these guys. That's why I say the truthers, most of the truthers are the most asleep, people. They're just as asleep as the other sheep. There's the rapper. Where's a rapper when you need him? All the truthers are just as asleep as the other sheep. Ugh. E40 Belafonte. Ugh. Ugh. With a big ass D-boy belly. Ugh. So yeah, back to sleep. He needs one of those old pocket watches waving in front of you while he's saying this shit. That would be better. That'd work.
Committees. We've played the clips here ad nauseum.
And you guys know I don't mean you. When I say you, I mean the general Alex Joneser. A Joneser. Jonesing for some Jones, man. You know what I'm saying? Woo! Jones. Happy New Year, by the way. It's 2018, in case anybody didn't know. I'm just kidding. Fuck you.
If you're a new listener, I know this sounds crazy, but I'm not going to play them again. You can look them up. They're on Infowars.com. And they admit in the hearings that they have no evidence I'm a Russian agent. Then they say, but he is one, so we're censoring Alex Jones. They're using this to kill dissent. And finally, CNN.
It's funny how CNN will say, well, we're going to censor Alex Jones out loud. Or mentioning Alex Jones in any light. And then you think they're not promoting Alex Jones. That's like saying, oh, Joe Rogan is not an insider. And then switching onto that new movie Bright with Will Smith in it, seeing Joe Rogan in his show, whatever that show's name was, doing an interview on one of the orcs, and it's a race baiting show. It's literally, this movie is literally about race baiting shit. It's horrible if you pay attention to the connotations. Which is all I ever pay attention to in movies anymore. I don't watch The Hand at all. So that's what's going on there. And yeah, so these people are literally mainstream now. This is what happened. Mainstream converted to this. All right, and now they have two branches: mainstream and alternative mainstream. But they're still mainstream. They'll support fairly different ideas. One will mock you if you watch TV like you should be mocked. So it kind of tricks you. It's like, look, he's telling us this right stuff. And the newbies, they don't know better than this. They don't know about the Jesuits and the secret societies and the, religious fanaticisms, and they don't understand all the connection to all of that, and how, Alex Jones is right smack dab in the middle of it. As far as America's history is not really America's history. It's the British Royal Empire's history. Americans think it's American history because, that's the way it was written down in his story. So,
and in the New York Times, I've got a stack of news I'm going to go over here in a minute. Mainstream news today coming out saying Russiagate is devolving into an effort to stigmatize dissent. It didn't devolve. Hitler didn't devolve into a Nazi in 1945. He was a Nazi. Gonorrhea doesn't devolve into gonorrhea. Okay? But why are they all coming out this weekend and in the last week? Why are they all coming out suddenly saying, okay, it's a total fraud, it's authoritarian, it's all a lie? Because they got caught and it blew up in their face. I'm not going to go over it again, but there are 26 Justice Department and FBI people that are senior, and 5 or 6 others we found, but they're mid-level age. But there's like 26, 27, depending on how you look at it, Justice Department and FBI officials who were all running the Russiagate thing, and then they basically all, except for a couple, gave money to their wives and husbands of government money in the millions to put out the PP-Gate dossier. So not only is the PP-Gate, this is what they're really scared of, fake with BuzzFeed, they're getting sued and getting basically bankrupt over.
Let me guess, the producers is about the movie industry being all CIA and actors and stuff being CIA? Because that's what I propose they are. Either that or whatever, part of the game, promoting, all kinds of rationalisms that create policy in the minds of the the malleable, put it that way, susceptible. Before you know it, you think the CDC has the power to declare martial law or something, because of a particular idea that you think some sort of a virus can jump around on everybody organically without there being some sort of an intrinsic method, like, let's say, a vaccine that everybody mandatorily gets. Yeah. So it's the only way to get a virus like that spread all over to everybody in a rapid place, like, in an epidemic fashion like that, would be because it was induced by a vaccine that everyone had to get. That would be the common denominator. Beware of this shit, guys. This is where it's coming. They're going to tell you, come get your vaccine, and it's going to be the disease. And everyone's going to die from it or get sick from it, or eventually. It's already happening. Literally, look at the amount of cancers we got. Oh, well, it could be because we can detect it better. No. It's not that at all. People knew when they had cancer back in the old days. We've got people running around today with lumps in their throats and shit and tumors everywhere. We knew when we knew this. This isn't, I can't stand this bullshit now. we're being fed so much of it. Chemotherapy is good for you or something.
Reportedly. It's not just that.
At least you'll hear good stuff like that occasionally from Alex Jones. Some true, medical stuff. But again, don't let that wrap you up, and don't let that be the source, because he's not the source. So, I mean, you could really do without him if you found, better sources, which are everywhere, actually. Even a chiropractor, Dr. John Berkman, is one of the better sources for vaccine information to date, as far as, credible and stuff like that. You can check out Experimental Vaccines channel. Kenny over there, he compiles a lot of great information, puts some videos together that are worth watching. Go over there and donate to somebody like that who's actually doing something, and not these fucking, not people like me who are just sitting here yapping online, or people even worse than me that are yapping about shit that isn't even important. People are just giving money away to people. If you want to donate to me, guys, here, I'll tell you how. Go outside, find your nearest hungry person, and get them a cheeseburger. And I'll thank you for it. I appreciate that. I mean, seriously, that's what people... what do I deserve? You know what I mean? Like, damn, people think they just... Never mind, here we go.
The real crime is the millions of taxpayer dollars from the FBI and Justice Department to the wives and husbands of people at Fusion GPS that made it up. I mean, it was like a 40-something page report that a 10-year-old could have written. It's so badly written, it looks like it was written in finger paints or something. But they got millions of dollars to write it. So this has blown up so bad, so crazily. These arrogant people thought they were invincible because the power went to their heads. And so now, the New York Times, CNN, The Nation, they're not coming out in the last couple of days. This all started after Christmas, last 5 days, since the 26th. They didn't start coming out and doing this because they really are suddenly good people. They've been some of the biggest floggers of this. They're letting people now come write the truth. Some of them are good people, by the way. But bad publications, because they know it's over. So let me just announce to you right now. Russiagate blew up in their face about a month ago, as we first told you. And as I've said, it's over, it's done. But they're going to try to paper over it and keep the con game going. It didn't work. And now... they have committed so many crimes leaking disinfo, not just leaking. They have been caught with the Russians, with the Communist Chinese, with everything. They are crapping their britches, suing for peace with the president. And I have told the president every time I talk to him, I said, when you defeat them in the next year, and they sue for peace, sir, that is when they're going to try to assassinate you. And he says...
with no
First time
more
I told him it was
news.
very interesting. Hold on, Alex.
Video for
he
a
goes
long
off his
time.
video. Tell me more about that. And I'm not going to leave the rest of the conversation. I'm not going to tell you anymore. But Trump, as the media points out, does respect InfoWars and does respect our research because we're on target. It's why the audience does. And we have the sources. And that...
It's a compilation of former InfoWars and Alex Jones employees and guests who have recently been speaking out about InfoWars. And some of the trends you'll notice here are that Alex Jones refuses to criticize Israel. He forces his employees to sign non-disclosure agreements. He's untrustworthy, and the reoccurring theme that just you shouldn't trust Alex Jones and that he lacks integrity. So let's get into it. The first example is former employee Rob Jacobson. He helped Alex Jones edit all of his original documentaries. He worked for InfoWars for well over 10 years. And just a few months ago, he was fired from InfoWars. And he's been speaking out on Facebook about Alex Jones, trying to warn us all about the fraud that Alex Jones is. Here's a post on Facebook from Rob Jacobson. He says, quote, "You hardly hear Alex talk about the $500 billion in weapons Trump sold to the Saudis. And when he does mention it, he has this cartoony line. Trump looked the Saudis in the eye and said, 'You better not use this for Islamic Jihad. You have to be stupid to buy this.' But Alex says Trump is fighting ISIS instead of arming them. Trump sold the Saudis $500 billion in weapons. Alex is a duplicitous liar. And these people who remain in his audience are little thumb-sucking cult members." And then Shane Bullis asks, "Rob, how long ago did you leave?" And he says, "A few months ago." A guy that worked with Alex for over 10 years is calling him a duplicitous liar and saying his audience are thumb-sucking cult members. Now here's the clip of Rob Jacobson speaking out against Trump and his actions that likely got him fired from InfoWars.
Last week, during the Syrian missile strike, I think Trump missed his opportunity to go after the COG, period. That was his opportunity, that was his window, and instead of going after him, he went with them. And I understand what Mike Cernovich said about, oh, this is a big boy world and a big boy place. And I gave that a lot of thought, and how when you become the president and you step onto a large playing field, you have to start playing the game with the big boys. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. We elected a leader, and what we got is the same old stuff. Okay?
See, and I agree with that, and I think that...
And I'm going to tell you where Mike was wrong.
Go ahead.
Okay? He was saying that, you know, you got to become part of the game. And what we wanted was somebody to lead us through the fog, not become part of the fog, and that's where he failed. And when he launched those missiles, he became part of the fog. He lost. It's over. I'm sorry. I mean, we should be going after the COG. We should be going after them. And that was our opportunity. And what Trump could have done is he could have said, let me step back, let me do an investigation, and let me expose the fact that it was people part of the COG, people who are in our government that committed this crime. Let's expose those people and yank them out. But instead of it, he became those people. It's over. It's over. What if China is behind North Korea? How do we know? There's a big piece of chocolate cake that was very impressive. We don't know this stuff. We got a guy in there. It's over. He's beaten. That's my point of view. Unless he could humble himself and come out to the American people and say, I was played. I'm going to backtrack on that. I'm going to expose the COG. I'm going to expose the criminals in our government. We have no shot. That's my point.
And that's why Rob Jacobson needs his own radio show. Pat, go ahead.
Good one, dude. Sure, you're going to give Rob Jacobson his own radio show. I'm guessing you mean somewhere else besides InfoWars, because he was fired right after this. And here's another example of Rob Jacobson admitting that Alex refuses to criticize Israel, which is an accusation that many people throw at Alex Jones. And now one of his long-term former employees is confirming it. Alex Jones refuses to criticize Israel because he's obviously a big fat Zionist shill. Rob Jacobson writes, I agree, they never touch Israel. They selectively talk about Trump. Alex lately is very critical of others' behavior while he acts out in the most insane ways. I'm normal. They've become the National Enquirer of the internet media world.
This guy does some great stuff. We've played his videos in the past. It's no more news.
The next example is former Alex Jones sidekick Aaron Dykes, who a few years ago left InfoWars. So here's Aaron Dykes on Facebook. He says the long-awaited Obama Deception 2. So he's mocking Alex Jones for never coming out with the Obama Deception 2 like he had promised. And here on the left, he says, 8 years ago, you ragged on Obama supporters who bought into hope and change. And on the right, he has Trump's face over Obama's, and it says, this time the deception is on you. So it's former Alex Jones sidekick, great researcher and reporter at InfoWars, is trying to tell all the Info Warriors out there, do not listen to Alex Jones, do not fall for Trump. They are both compromised puppets. Next, we have a clip of Aaron Dykes and his wife, Melissa Melton, who both worked at InfoWars, and it's them on a radio show shortly after they quit InfoWars talking about the NDAs and the suspicious activity going on at InfoWars. Here it is.
I don't know even what to believe anymore about. I've heard so many crazy things in the last couple of weeks alone, things I can't talk about or say. I mean, yes, we signed non-disclosure agreements at that place. Everyone knows this. Everyone has to sign one. Well, most people have to sign one. And yes, since we left, we're in the, we've been not so subtly reminded multiple times that we signed that and that we better shut our freaking mouths. Here's the thing. If I wanted to be at InfoWars, I would be at InfoWars. I would still be there. Aaron would still be there. We quit, okay? We did choose to leave, and we quit, and we left, and now we're doing what we're doing now. If we wanted to still be embroiled in the drama or dealing with the BS or doing it, we would not have quit, right? We would have still be there. We don't want to be there. There's a reason we're not there. That's why. And I hate it because I have people that I care about, people on Facebook that I'm friends with, they keep asking me to say a bunch of stuff, and it's like, okay, I have children. It's not, I guess if we get sued and screamed at or what, I mean, they could take my nothing that I don't have, but I mean, it's kind of like, I just want to focus on the work I'm trying to do. I don't want to get mired in all of this infighting and blacklisting and the BS, because it just goes on, and it's pointless in the end of the day because we're all trying to supposedly do the same thing here.
Next, we have another Alex Jones former protege, Anthony Gucciardi, who recently left InfoWars. We don't know why or how. He hasn't publicly admitted it. Alex Jones has been silent about him leaving, like he usually is when he has falling out with all of his employees. And so Anthony Gucciardi is gone now. He used to be like his #1 sidekick. Now he's just on Twitter and Facebook posting inspirational quotes. I think something's going on with Gucciardi. I wish he would talk to me. I've tried to contact him, but he won't respond. Probably out of fear of the NDAs and the threats like Melissa and Aaron just spoke about. But here is a secret recording that somebody secretly recorded Anthony Gucciardi at a restaurant or a bar, and it was when he first started working with Alex Jones. Listen to what Anthony Gucciardi says about Alex Jones as a person, like his character and his ego and his integrity.
To him, the only thing that matters is his fame and his power over the industry or whatever. He basically told me that he hates every single one of his reporters and that they suck.
Next up, we have former editor and webmaster at Infowars.com, Kurt Nemo, who was recently fired from Infowars for not going along with the Trump cheerleading. Here, Kurt Nemo told the Daily Beast in this article, The War Inside InfoWars.
Trump cheerleading.
Kurt Nemo tells the Daily Beast that he has noticed the general framework and voice of the site shift into becoming essentially a pro-Trump propaganda outfit, something that he perceives as an abandonment of InfoWars' initial focus on the New World Order, or as Jones would call it, the establishment. I totally agree. I've witnessed this shift take place myself. Nemo said in an email to the Daily Beast, "I disagree with Alex Jones on Donald Trump. I believe Donald Trump is an enabler of crony capitalism, the same as his predecessors. I also believe he will not end the wars started by Bush and continued by Obama. I cannot support a man who will further war and murder. Alex Jones has more or less ignored this and considers Trump a patriot and a defender of the Constitution. This is clearly wrong. Support for Trump also means supporting waterboarding, killing the families of suspected terrorists, squandering trillions more on a bloated military, supporting Israel despite its crimes against humanity, omitting Saudi Arabia from the list of terrorist states, and further militarizing police in the U.S. Alex Jones previously opposed most of these things, with the exception of Israel, which he has refused to criticize." Okay, I don't want to hear Alex Jones ever say that he fairly criticizes Israel. He doesn't. Everybody says he's a Zionist shill. He refuses to criticize Israel, and here is Alex Jones's former editor of InfoWars website and the webmaster admitting Alex Jones, quote, has refused to criticize Israel. Kurt Nemo also takes some shots at Alex Jones's current sidekick, Paul Joseph Watson. He says, quote, "If we are to judge Paul Joseph Watson by his editorials and tweets, he is an Islamophobe, little different than Geert Wilders or Pamela Geller. He has embraced the alt-right philosophy on Islam. I disagree with this. The United States government and the military-industrial complex are far more threatening to our liberty than a gaggle of crazy Islamists, many supported by the CIA in Saudi Arabia. Paul Joseph Watson wasn't claiming back then that Islam would destroy the world. In fact, he wrote radical jihadis were created by the CIA and British intelligence. Guess he doesn't talk about that much anymore. Kurt Nemo says, quote, I don't know if revealing this is part of the confidentiality agreement, but I cannot consent to Watson lying about him. Yeah, Alex Jones and Watson told everybody that Kurt Nemo was lazy and that's why they fired him, but we all know it's because Kurt Nemo wasn't going along with the Trump cheerleading. Nemo continues that he was told by other former employees that Alex Jones was angry about his repeated requests for health care insurance. My wife and I are in our mid-60s and I find it unconscionable for the multi-million-dollar operation not to provide health insurance for employees. I merely do not wish for the article to say I was let go due to poor work performance. We know that's not true, Kurt. We know Alex Jones is a fraud and he fired you because you are not a yes man that agrees with everything the dictator authoritarian Alex Jones says. Next up, we have another former Alex Jones sidekick, Luke Rudkowski from We Are Change. He posts on Facebook and says, "This is why alternative media can't have nice things." Really, bro? Come on. And he links to an InfoWars article with the headline, 10 times that God has hit America with a major disaster after the U.S. attempted to divide the land of Israel. Because Barack Obama has cursed Israel at the United Nations, America is now under a curse. What a joke. This is from Alex Jones, who claims he's not a Zionist. He says that we're cursed if we don't support and defend Israel no matter what. An absolute rabid Zionist would say that. And we didn't curse Israel at the United Nations. 15 other countries voted that the settlements are illegal and Israel is doing illegal war crimes against the apartheid Palestinians. All America did was abstain their veto vote. 15 other countries voted and America just decided to not veto it like they always do every year. We're protecting them because they own us. If you look at this article that they posted, it is ridiculous. They basically say that every time we do something bad to Israel, we get a hurricane or an earthquake or a tornado, and it's just such a joke. I mean, the fear, he wants us to think that God is attacking us because we don't support Israel, but he's not a Zionist, sure. Next up, we have Luke Rudkowski.
And that's one of the most important points, because you see how heavily he's weighed back into this God, this, and religion, that thing. This is a jihad. He is in the jihad mode. You got to be careful. Jihaders, man. They're just, he's faking a crazy, so it's feeding a psychosis of the other crazies. Oh, look, he's crazy just like me. Affirmation. I'm going to go more crazy than him now. Right? This is exactly this childish mentality that the U.S., fluoridated U.S. is under right now. And at least most people don't even watch Alex Jones, actually. So,
Rudkowski interviewing former longtime guest of InfoWars show David Icke.
But that's the problem, right? The regular, sheep, they go, oh, well, let's take a look. Maybe there's something to this alternative stuff. And then they go over here and then they look and they go, oh, nothing to it. Gangsta rap made me do it. Ain't nothing to it. Gangster rap made me do it. Seriously, they're like, forget it, loonies, not doing it. Sorry, I even looked.
He hasn't been back on
Flat Earth
since the Trump era came to be, but it's Luke and David Icke criticizing Alex Jones, not by name, but they're definitely talking about him, for cheerleading for Trump and for betraying all the things that Alex Jones and InfoWars supposedly stood for in the past.
We had a very important conversation last night, especially when it comes to the state of alternative media. What is the state of alternative media, David?
Well, I think it's sad the way some of the alternative media has gone.
Then there's the controlled opposition to the controlled opposition. It's pretty hilarious.
In fact, quite a significant part of it, particularly in the United States. This man is going to take on what they call the globalists. And as a...
this man right here gonna tell you all the truth about the world leaders being all related and stuff, and then turn around and tell you that they're lizard people. So that you just take all that real information and you throw it away after you start digging into this knucklehead. Oh, they're lizard aliens. They're probing your butt. Oh my goodness. They're aliens from another star planet. Get the hell out of here, dude.
The result of that, the narrative has changed in these parts of the alternative media from you can't trust any of them, it's all a rigged system, to actually it is rigged, but against Trump in favor of Clinton.
Good point.
What?
Yeah, he makes the same point I'm making. Oh my goodness. I think David Icke has been watching me. I'm just kidding. This is what YouTube does to people. Like, oh my God, I'm so much more important than I ever thought I was. Oh my God.
I see is some areas of the alternative media becoming little more than an alternative Fox News. Now, terrorist events are not being dissected in the way they were before by this particular area of the alternative media anyway. They're being used as a means to bash Muslims and to cast all Muslims with the actions of a few. I find it very unpleasant.
See, but he doesn't turn around. You got to remember, there's more Muslims. There are more Muslims than Christians, okay? And now what this is really a reverse psychology. This is actually a way to incite religions against each other. All right? This is literally what that is. When he's saying, oh, it's about bashing Muslims, what do you think is happening from the Muslims' perspective? It's bashing Christians. They are blaming Christianity for all of this and all the Christians. So this is fueling a jihad. That's how he works together with him, by pretending to be fighting against him and at the same time fueling the same jihad from the other end. You light that end of the wick, I'll light this end of the wick. We'll pretend to be on separate teams, but we're both going to ignite the bomb in the middle. That's what's happening. I hope you guys see that. I mean, I'm not the smartest motherfucker in the world. I've never been accused of being the smartest motherfucker in the world.
To see videos from alternative researchers talking about the hate of Islam and the way it's a hate religion. And they're delivering those videos with absolute hatred in their eyes and in their face. What I'm sure many people who've kind of followed the alternative media, I'm sure many of them are a bit confused about what's going on. It's not the way anything's going to change, because what they're doing is becoming that which they've claimed to be exposing. They're becoming the polarity. They're becoming the means for divide and rule, instead of bringing people together. For me, it borders on the embarrassing for the alternative media.
It's embarrassing, but it also has a way of showing people who really is in the game, because this regression, as you called it, like we've been talking about last night, is massive. It's expansive. We went from people saying the system is rigged, don't vote for the lesser of two evils, to
remember to sub to No More News too when you guys get a chance. No More News.
Saying, well, let's trust the system. Well, he's a little bit less evil. Let's put all of our faith and energy into this.
And here's one more short clip of David Icke calling out alternative media people like A.Jones who refuse to call out Rothschild Zionism.
Most people, the overwhelming majority of people in what we call conspiracy research, won't touch this subject, right? Well, I'm going to bloody touch it because I'm sick of it. And I'm sick of people being frightened and intimidated into not touching it. Rothschild Zionism.
Now we have another former wingman of A.Jones, Jason Burmis, who helped produce the hit documentaries Loose Change, Invisible Empire, Fabled Enemies, and here he is calling out A.Jones for his cheerleading for Trump and for his lack of ethics and morals when it comes to objectively covering the Trump administration.
Now, unfortunately, we also live in a day and age where some of the alternative media seem to be cheerleaders for the Trump administration. To ignore the fact that Goldman Sachs is heavily represented in this administration, to ignore the fact that his technology advisor, Peter Thiel, sits on the board of Bilderberg, to ignore the fact that he's dealing with Saudi Arabia, who we know have been arming Islamic jihadis for some time now, and spin that as though that's not happening is very dangerous as well.
Even Ron Paul has been calling out Alex Jones. In this clip, he says Alex Jones sounds like a neocon with his bomb North Korea propaganda.
I don't want to have to, nuke the DMZ. But if they do strike us first, I think they may be crazy enough to do it, then it's going to take a major commitment to make sure they can't counter-respond.
You're buying into all the garbage that's passed out there by the deep state
anything.
and neoconservatives and the media. Alex, you're speaking for the neoconservatives. That's their line of talk of why we have to do this.
Now we have another former longtime guest on the Alex Jones InfoWars show, Wayne Madsen, also speaking out against Alex Jones. Just a few months ago, Alex Jones was talking about hiring Wayne, and Wayne went to the RNC and the DNC to report for InfoWars, but now Wayne is speaking out like he should because Alex Jones is a fraud. Here's a tweet that Wayne put up where he says Alex Jones amends his remarks to show he is still crazier than a shithouse rat. And here's another tweet where he says that Alex Jones photoshops Trump on WWE mat in 2000.
Crazier than a shithouse rat. I mean, it doesn't get any funnier than that.
13, making it appear that it is Shakespeare on the Park play. Jones is a bloated, lying shitbag. So, harsh words from Wayne for Alex Jones. Well deserved.
Agreed.
And here's a clip of Wayne on the Richie Allen show, and they're speaking about the terrible things that have been happening at InfoWars.
That these people have no idea what they're talking about, and that includes Alex Jones and the rest. I don't know what deals he's cut. Maybe he's been given a promise by Trump that InfoWars and his, selling of Dr. Feelgood snake oil will have for it carved out a special amount of bandwidth on the internet.
Wayne, I'm going to pick you up on what you said about InfoWars, and I'm doing that because you're not the first guest who's been on the program recently who has had a relationship with InfoWars, who's become frustrated or disheartened by what's been going on there. Now, I put my cards on the table. I've known Alex for about 10 years, and I used to invite him to come on my programs regularly, and he did, and we had some pretty interesting conversations over the years. But what I've seen, especially leading up to the election, the blanket support of Donald Trump, let's be honest about it, Wayne, you're a journalist, the dreadful, disgraceful interview that Alex did with Trump when he never challenged him or asked him a single question. What happened to InfoWars? Was it something that was building? Was Alex always kind of like that? Was he always ambitious to place his brand alongside Fox News? Or has something more sinister happened there in recent years, in your opinion?
Well, my take is that, look, many people have said through the years there's no such thing as bad publicity. There's only publicity, and he's gotten good and bad. Trump has helped him immensely, and I believe he was in negotiations to try to carve out something on the cable, one of the cable news networks. Now that's good and fine, but sometimes overachieving or too much success can ruin an entity. Sometimes you can overachieve. You try to grab off more, and then you lose your base. You're trying to please people in Hollywood, and you totally disconnect from people in rural Oklahoma, for example.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think that's what's happening in Austin, Texas, to a large degree.
And you can't all of a sudden start saying things that you don't really believe in to suit another audience, to bring more viewers your way. And Alex was very much of the understanding that you know, Democrats, Republicans, two sides of the same coin. The oligarchs, as you said, Wayne, control all of that. And Alex was pretty principled in saying that for many, many years. And then, of course, he abandoned that principle. It's brought him a lot of extra viewers and listeners, no doubt about that. But it's a tragedy, really, is my opinion.
Being a psycho.
That's why they battle to keep the president from our information. Because a lot of it doesn't just come from me. We're going to have Michael Caputo, a former advisor to Trump.
None of it just comes from you. That's what's funny. He almost admitted himself there. There you go.
High level on.
What I said earlier.
They try to keep him away from Caputo. We get through to him through people close to the president with this show. And
like who? Like, members of the cabinet. Let's see, CIA. Oh, insiders. Oh. So, you're getting fed your info from...
The president does end up watching clips every week.
Who?
He requests them. And I'm just letting the media know that so they can know they failed miserably. Michael Caputo's coming on. Roger Stone, Dr. Corsi. Because here's the big news. The purge of the globalists...
Watch the hand.
Not extrajudicially, not with death squads, not outside law, but through the Constitution and through the will of the people, begins next week. Get ready. Because the hammer is coming down. And the cleaning house is about to happen. And from the beginning, there was a split in the Trump...
From the beginning. The beginning.
Administration on whether he should let the globalists creep off with their money, leave them alone. And they lied then and said they'd leave them alone, but they never did.
So Trump tweeted. Sorry, every time I hear that he tweeted, it makes me laugh again.
And it wasn't like the president was selling out. You know, it might be best at one level not to have this civil war or not do all this because the globalists are dangerous, but they'll never give up. I can tell you now, the president...
But they'll never give up.
President has decided to go on the offensive, and it's happening. Trump is getting ready to go on the offense.
I remember when his voice wasn't quite that friggin' goofy. It's just plain goofy now.
In T-minus 6.5 hours, ladies and gentlemen. So, get ready for 2018 to be a whopper. Now, understand this, though. We're not arrogant globalists that think we're invincible and are power drunk. We've got major beachheads. The public's starting to wake up. Globalism's in trouble.
Use globalism words. We've got major beachheads. We're attacking them on all these fronts. We're the military-industrial complex, Adam. We're going to take them down, except we're not going to take down their military-industrial complex. We're not going to do any of that. What are we gonna do, folks? We're gonna buy some tangy tangerine and because it's good for you, and male mortality, and they'll stop the globalists in their tracks by working out with other men in the gym together. Look at me. Look at my spandex. Male vitality.
Because it's so authoritarian, but we've got to replace it at every level with integrity and honor and truth and justice. And
except all your employees said that you don't have any of that. I mean, they're closest to you, right? They know more about you than we would, right? And they're telling us that you're a piece of shit, Alex Bonehead. Emirate Bones.
Classic populism and a respect of the people and a respect of women.
Crazy. You don't have any of that. It's so cool. It's like one of those times when you're looking in the mirror and you're naming all the things you lack. This is one of those moments for you.
And a respect of men and a respect of children and a respect of each other.
Zilch. Not a damn nary drop of none of that you got, buddy.
Because our country and the world has gone through grievous wounds of globalist engineering. And we're in deep trouble.
That was horribly put together. You're probably upset that you wrote that, or that whoever wrote that, I'm sure. Like, oh, my goodness.
I'm only happy because it's like we're in a coma, and we started babbling, and our eyes opened, and, you know, America's had a big...
That's an illusion. He alluded to the Bible with that babbling comment. Mr. Bibley. Bibbly. Great ape.
Bowel movement. We're kind of flopping around here on the table going...
Yeah, you are. Just like that. Boy, that's the truest thing he said all day. Look at that. He's a bowel movement flopping around on the table. Look at him. Big BM. What's up, BM?
You know, but at least something's going on.
Yeah, some stank. You got some stank going on, Big BM. Sorry.
And I use that gross analogy because somebody that comes out of a big coma, that usually happens. I mean, we're but you know, we're there, folks. We're coming out of the trance, the sleeping giants.
I couldn't even eat around a person like that. Just like if he started talking at the dinner table, I'd be like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Awakening and praise God. You know.
Oh yeah. I would have him do the prayer and like, all right, do the prayer and now let's eat. And shut up after that.
No, I talked about how Trump absolutely is delivering
a baby. He's absolutely delivering a baby. With extra pepperoni.
And after all these decades of betrayal, wouldn't that be the smart
decades
move even for a sociopath? I'm not saying he's a sociopath, he's the opposite.
Oh, you're not? Because it seemed like you did, just on accident. Like, oh man, don't all of us sociopaths go to the same Pizza Hut? Jackass.
People said, well,
look at him. Oh God, I hope Trump doesn't think that he's gonna pull my funding. He's gonna think I said something bad against him.
You better thank God. I thank God constantly. But also,
I heard that you do, but I heard it just a minute ago when you did it. Just a minute ago. So yeah, I did hear that.
Thank you. And God thanks you because you carry the light in the dark of the night.
This motherfucker, God thanks you. He personally told me to give you this bumper sticker. It says InfoWars on it and put it on your fucking car. Oh, because I'm not manipulating you. God wants you to do this. Man, I wish some dogs would slap the shit out of you, boy.
And I don't care what color you are, where you came from.
Sure you don't. Except for if you're brown and Muslim, and fuck off. Right, Alex?
Love you. This is directly.
And I emphasize the duh in that.
Out of the mouth of one of the highest level people in the White House.
The janitor. That's probably the highest level person in the White House. He got the keys to every room. Oh, shit.
Now, they may change their mind about resigning, and it's not Tillerson. Tillerson was going to resign, and now he's doing some face-saving stuff, and it's back and forth. That could happen the next month. It's somebody else.
Oh, well, way to apologize for it, pumpkin.
So this is important, though, because who they want to replace him with.
Your pink-headed mom.
So that's coming up.
Head.
And we've got Michael Caputo, former high-level Trump advisor, who's been accused of being a Russian agent with no evidence, just like I have. I'm like, call me into court. I want the FBI to come over here. And I've said it on.
I know you do, because they could be like, can you hand me next week's script? Bitch ass.
I've actually called them myself and demanded they come here
and give me my script on time from them, because I can't do these shows without them. You see him how he spaced out and was thinking and stuff, because all of that naughtiness was in his head right there about him being full of shit. I'm telling you.
Put up or shut up. And of course, there's
proof is in the pudding because.
Start laughing. Yes, Mr. Jones, we understand you're not a Russian agent or all of the Russians.
Oh, I'm sure. Is that what they said? Did they all just came to you? How many of them said it? What'd they say? Did they send you a letter? How'd they get this to you when they said this? Were they there when they handed you the script that you're holding in your hand, on your right hand right there that you're looking at? Is that one of their scripts? You're accidentally touching it Freudian style? Is that what's going on there? Do I feel like I just caught you in something? Like, because if you were one of my kids, I would check under that hand right now. And I would catch something if you were one of my kids too. Because I'm good at seeing those little naughty behaviors. You're being naughty. What's in there? Better hope we don't have a zoom. I'll zoom in there and see that. The title of that page, what does that say? From the offices of the FBI. I'm the inside scoop.
I mean, I've said I want to be in front of Congress. I mean, I'm sick of this. I'm tired of this. Because
Oh, Alex Jones said he wants to be in front of Congress. Alex Jones for Congress. Mark my words.
I want lower taxes and sovereignty and to control our borders, and I'm pro-Christian and pro-free market.
Yeah, he's pro-Christian.
Russian agent? Well, then we better all be Russian agents then. Think how crazy that is. Once the Democrats and the globalists...
Hold on a second. Did you just deny you were pro-Christian? I got confused. I was talking.
And, of course, they're just like, yeah, start laughing. Yes, Mr. Jones, we understand you're not a Russian agent or all of the Russians. I mean, I've said I want to be in front of Congress. I mean, I'm sick of this. I'm tired of this. Because I want lower taxes and sovereignty and to control our borders, and I'm pro-Christian and pro-free market. I'm a Russian agent. Well, then we better all be Russian agents then.
All right.
Think how crazy that is. Once the Democrats and the globalists that hate this country, that have been trying to destroy it forever.
Yeah.
But if you just joined us, I'm going to Dr. Jerome Corsi in this segment and the next, and because he's been hammering on what is in the 8chan boards and QAnon and the rest of it. And you can look at what QAnon says. A lot of it's accurate, but that doesn't matter. We can see in real news what's happening and how Trump is purging the pedophiles. He is purging the money launderers. He is going after the globalists. This is all happening. And it's about to go supernova next year. His first year with Trump is salvage. Next year is destroy. That means go after the bad guys. And you've seen nothing but promise keeping on TPP, on NAFTA, on GATT, on tax cuts, on killing the single-payer mandate, which is Obamacare. I mean, quite frankly, Ronald Reagan got half done what Trump's done in 8 years. Okay? And I'm not saying Reagan was a bad guy, but first year he was great, then it kind of went away. This is amazing. So that's coming up with exclusive info. But Trump is right about the FBI. New York Times. The Nation. Russiagate devolving into an effort to stigmatize dissent. The Nation. Here's another one. I don't even look for these. It's everywhere. Tampa Bay. In text, FBI officials in Russia inquiry said Clinton just has to win.
Told you I saw FBI on that paper.
Liberal publication says it needs to end. FBI agent removed from Russia probe called Trump an idiot. Omaha World Herald. It goes on and on. They're only doing this because it's blown up in their face, and now they've gone and sued for peace. I can tell you they've gone to Mar-a-Lago, different globalist emissaries, and said, okay, you're right. Okay, you're making the country great again. We'll leave you alone. That, I believe, at a gut level, is a foil. They're feigning. And then when they feign this way, they're going to come back and try to stab us. That's their very nature. They're dishonorable. We'll talk to Dr. Corsi here in a moment. First off, If you want to really be revolutionary, buy the products at InfoWarsStore.com. And a lot of you are, and I salute you and thank you. It's how we've got a Washington, D.C. correspondent like Dr. Corsi. It's how we're getting all these other correspondents I'm going to announce the next month. It's how we're building all these big new studios. Buy some water filters. $10 million a year for you. And I'm like, I don't like 5 satellites. So everything they want is thick and try to stab us. That's their nature. They're dishonorable. We'll talk to Dr. Corsi here in a moment. First off, buy some water filters. So censored on the internet. Thank God we're expanding on AM and FM. And since they censor us, go get free shipping. It's about to end the next 2 days. Extended through Christmas, now the new year. Go get the Real Red Pill, Alpha Power, enhancement for stamina, libido, energy, beyond anything I've ever taken or seen. We're zealots, top expert on banking. Incredible. That's back in stock. The new year, folks. We need the funds because I'm spending everything I've got right now.
I can tell you're jawing like a motherfucker. You must have spent hella grip on that 8-ball.
Everything I've got to hire people, to get crew, to get trained, to build more websites, to launch effectively in the enemy's face. Going to break here in a few minutes, but Doc, we haven't talked in a couple of weeks.
The electronic surveillance. Donald Trump was right. He was under electronic surveillance. So was his campaign. And I think that basis of that wiretap, the Fusion GPS, is fraudulent.
Well, of course it was. How could they be so arrogant to commit all these crimes, criminal leaks, make stuff up, and now be caught a Clinton coterie, a cabal in there trying to frame the president, thus the voters of America?
I think they got used to, under the Clinton years, of having this compliant mainstream media, lapdog media, that repeated everything that Obama and Clinton wanted said, everything the deep state wanted parroted and broadcast. And what you find out is now you've got a situation where the public is listening to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a whole different force to be reckoned with. And, you know, the mainstream media, the deep state have never dealt with someone like Donald Trump.
This is important. It's very important. It's as important as World War II, quite frankly. Globalism, as you know, and we're a best-selling author working with Lou Dobbs, with the #1 show on TV at the time, exposing that. The swamp, he's hired some swamp creatures to be his guides, but all I care about is results. We're getting unprecedented results. And quite frankly, I'm surprised how much results Trump's gotten. This is quite a turnabout here.
Well, and we've been following, I've been very closely following this QAnon, and I started it when the executive order came out on the 21st, which was really, just a few days ago. This executive order suddenly appears, President Trump signs it, and he says that this is against international trafficking, human rights violations, and the executive order declares that a national emergency exists, that a state of national emergency exists. It's not only that we have the Treasury Department has the right to confiscate the assets of those involved in human rights trafficking, but also that the state of emergency is in place, which means we're under martial law for this category of offenses. And then QAnon links it to Eric Schmidt, and Eric Schmidt resigns the same day that, from Alphabet, as head of Alphabet, the same day that this executive order is coming out, and they're linked, because you see the extensive funding and involvement. QAnon did this long narrative, which we decoded, and it was clear that part of that narrative, central to it, was the fact that Eric Schmidt had funded Hillary run her IT department, was involved very deeply in this crowd.
And that ties into Pakistan.
Right, ties into Pakistan. All this ties into the entire
Rogan's also a
development of the
damn
Russian
shill.
collusion narrative. Now, what it looks like, and we've been able to confirm a variety of things from the QAnon. I mean, this national.
Well, let me just say this to stop you. And I'm going to hold you in the next segment. Let me just say this to stop you.
Right.
I mean, you've been at the highest levels of banking, friends with Donald Trump. You've got all your own CIA connections. So do I. The reason QAnon's so important is much of what he's saying is the same intel we're getting.
Precisely.
And then it's gotten attention, so it's a way to focus people. And we're not lessening QAnon or 8chan or the rest of it.
Both have your own
this is a real
CIA
executive order.
handlers.
And as you said, a lot of my listeners went, Alex, this is martial law, this executive order. Well, we're under globalist attack. They've seized the country. He's cutting your taxes. He's securing the borders. He's taking care of the veterans. He's trying to take care of old people. He's getting rid of Obamacare meant to screw you over. When you're in a war, it's martial law against the globalists. If they start using it against the people, I'll go crazy. Hey, that's not what's happening. We're under globalist foundation control, and if Trump's going to take the gloves off when deep state's openly saying kill him, and he's got to get geared up to do this, cutting off Saudi Arabia, going and making them make a deal, cutting off the Clintons and globalist money. That's where it was coming from. That's what Vegas was about. I have my own military intelligence and CIA sources that are saying on air, like Zach, and I'm not going to say his real name, obviously, Zach's his first name, who are giving us the exact same intel before QAnon. So all I'm saying is we're confirming what
Like Zach. Oh, I'm not going to say his name. Well, I mean, Zach's his first name. Well, I guess his other people in the CIA can figure out who Zach is pretty quickly. Jackass. I mean, geez, if you are an insider, don't tell them your name. I mean, and I'll, trying to... He'll snitch you out on accident, obviously, or he's just making that up to make his story seem like it has more validity.
QAnon saying from our own sources, and it's incredibly bold.
Well, and also I think, QAnon is clearly an intelligence source of one kind or another as inside information. I mean, I'm able to decode it from the background I've got in intelligence, but QAnon is validating, Alex, the things that you've been saying for years. And, that's where the affinity comes. There's background here that validates all the points that you've been making about the globalists. The martial law is here. That martial law was declared in that executive order. And Trump is going after the money of human rights violators. I mean, which
again, explain, that's the main funding of the globalist system. Explain that.
Yeah, well, that's the key. I mean, the whole funding, this whole pedophilia, and I mean, you were pounded months ago for going after this, but I think now it's going to be validated. You're going to be vindicated in 2018 because this whole pedophilia network, which is billions and billions of dollars, has been intertwined in Wall Street. It's intertwined in the news media and Hollywood. You see it in the political circles. And I think Donald Trump's going after it. I mean, and it is validation. I wanted to point out, I was able to validate that this Arizona National Guard unit has just been moved from Phoenix. They moved about 4 dozen soldiers, part of the 850 unit National Guard, which are military police battalion, have just been moved to Gitmo. And that's after you had Secretary of Defense Mattis visit Gitmo. You've had Attorney General Sessions visit Gitmo. I mean, clearly something is going on, and this executive order is a clear declaration that we are in a state of emergency, which gives the powers of the presidency really exceptional characteristics and abilities.
And let's be clear. The Democrats, people say, Alex, you're the one that always warned of this. Now you're for it. The Democrats have announced we want a state of emergency. We want civil unrest. We want Trump arrested or killed. We want to kill all the Republicans. #kill Republicans. They're building towards this emergency, as they said, in December. So Trump put this in with the intel to basically block their funding. He already cut off Saudi Arabia. So, again, folks, he's blocking them with the executive power. They're
fear porn. This is straight up fear porn.
wrongly trying to launch this without executive power as a rogue group. Clearly, this is what's happening. And the word is that what we're seeing with QAnon and my other sources that are confirmed, high-level Army Special Operations Command, you name it, is that what we're seeing from QAnon is warnings to Hillary and warnings to Soros that you're going to be in Gitmo if you keep pushing it. Not that they're actually going to be going there. Go ahead.
Well, and also, Alex, I want to point out that the two gentlemen who run the QAnon in 8chan,
we've had them
also on the Reddit, the subreddit, which is, you know, the calm before the storm, CBTS_stream, came on the show came on your show last week and spent a good deal of time and was all over the subreddit. You just calm before the storm /stream and with hundreds of responses to it, a couple hundred that I read. So you see that QAnon is acknowledging that in fact you, Alex, have been ahead of the curve and that your audience is ahead of the curve.
Well, exactly. It's not about you. And I know you're just pointing out we've been right. But again, it's not about us. I'm just pointing out this is real. We've had Phil Mudd, the former head of counterterrorism, saying we're going to kill the president on CNN. I mean, they did that to rally their troops to say, I mean, what's the word, though? Because the last 5 days, they have been signaling that they're backing off. They crapped their pants after this executive order. McCabe announced he's resigning, leaving. Schmidt, I mean, they're really signaling that they're scared.
Well, I think what we're seeing is this is the beginning of the Trump counterattack. And it has, I think, two elements to it. One is you see Trump very effectively working now with Congress. Nunes in the Senate. You're going to see Gowdy and Jim Jordan in the House, who are going to press these issues of McCabe and Strozik and all the holdovers from Obama that were really determined to run a very biased FBI and Department of Justice that was going to excuse Hillary of everything and go after Trump on fake charges of this whole Russian collusion issue. Now, what you've got in this, what you've got going on, I think extremely here, is that Trump is saying, I've had enough of it. And what he's going to do is he's going to counterattack. He's going to say, I'm coming after you, and we're going to get the money. The money is going to be the #1 target, and the money is, I think, cut off is going to severely limit the ability of the deep state to operate.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm not mad at myself, but when I read the executive order last week, I said, this is martial law, and I understood what the president was doing, and I meant to come on air and say it's basically financial martial law against multinational combines and these big foundations. And then I just never came on air and did it. But Corsi is now breaking it down, and we really are under a civil emergency. A national emergency has been declared by President Trump. But the globalists were announcing they want their own national emergency and to take Trump out. So it's very constitutional what he's doing as president when an outside group...
The globalists announced that they wanted to do it, and now Trump has done it. But he's not a globalist. He's on the other side. He's doing it for a different reason. It's totally different now. No, it's totally different. It's martial law, but I mean, it's totally different kind of martial law. It's a different one. It's the one he did on us, not the one they did on us. So it's totally different. It's just martial law this way now. It's just different. Shut up, man.
Is doing this, and he's only targeting them. And he went and made deals with Saudi Arabia to cut off the funding to the globalists. Big things are happening. This is so epic, I can't believe it. And everything Trump's doing is delivering power back to the people as he pledged a year and 11 days ago, or no, 11 months and 11 days ago, or whatever it was, on January 20th, 2017. So as we end the year, got about 4 minutes left, Dr. Corsi. This is so epic. This is so big. This is so huge.
Well, I think, you see, there's first of all, with Saudi Arabia.
That's all, folks. Sometime today. Okay, guys, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it short. I might do. I might have another hangout later on, where we'll actually talk about a specific topic or whatever. But as far as it goes now, I got stuff to do. It's time to go. So thanks for hanging out with me and yapping about this Alex Jones and martial law and Trump nonsense. And Tangy Tangerine. Good to see some of the faces I haven't seen in quite a while. Stay in touch. We'll continue to do these. They're kind of fun. Do them as long as they let me do them. Remember to thumb this down and be upset with me for as many things as you can think of this year. Start off the new year with a bang. And share it to everybody you'd like to, you want, to see this crap. I'm just kidding. Alright, guys. And gals. Guys and gals and stuff and such.
I'm your only true friend now. They
Oh yeah, I said I was gonna leave. I'm gonna leave. Happy New Year, in case I forgot to tell everybody. Oh yeah, you want to see how DNA got its structure? Just following the electric dynamics of field dynamics. We'll see. Crab nebulas like that. The galactic clusters. Galaxies. To DNA. Double helix. And on that note, I'll let you ponder the implications.